Let's switch across to serving and servanthood. What do you think about serving?
Well, Jesus is the same way. He really does help his team, his disciples, to understand this, because they're like you and I, they're having an argument about who is the best and who is the greatest and how do we lead and how do we control what's going on. And then he just turns the tables on them and helps them understand. Once again, listen, guys, that's how it happened under Moses. My way is different.
Yeah.
And so there's a great verse in, I think, about Mark 10, which maybe you can read it for us to help us understand the difference.
Okay, so Mark 10, 43 to 45 says, "Not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant."
What? Must be your servant. So the greatest is going to be the servant. See, that is a complete shift away from Moses. It's a complete shift. So he's helping them.
"And whoever wants to be first must be a slave of all. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and give his life as a ransom for many."
Wow. Did you get that? Jesus himself says, even though he had all that glory in heaven and he comes, he's not coming to lord it over us. He's coming to pick up a towel and to serve us and to let us know this kingdom's completely different now. It doesn't operate the way it did under Moses. This time you're going to pick up a towel and you're going to serve, and that's what's going to make you great. So he protects and serves his team by helping them to unhitch and get it right. So that's part and parcel of it.
So good.
What about, I love this, the whole concept of picking up a towel. I heard of a great initiative that happened only yesterday by one of our teachers. Maybe you can just share with everyone what that was about from serving.
Yes, so we at the Junction here host a drama class once a week on a Tuesday, Zigzag Theatre. And Erin, who runs the drama, came to us a few weeks ago and said she's having a funeral on this day and it was a personal thing she needed to attend to and would have to close her drama classes down unless we could find a teacher who could come in and teach. She asked us, did we know of anyone? We thought around in circles and eventually we thought of Tiani. Now, Tiani teaches at one of our local schools full-time and she is a busy lady, but we reached out to her and said, is there any way you could help Erin with Zigzag Theatre and teaching the classes that day? And I just love the heart of people to jump in and serve and help, asking nothing in return. Straight away, Tiani said, yes, absolutely, I'll come in. She came in and taught that drama class. So she was serving on the rhythm and routine of her life because she's part of our church here and part of the Junction and just stepping in, able to serve and help, which was so powerful.
I think that's key for everybody that's watching, is that you got to figure out the rhythms and routines of your life, and look at it and see, where can I serve? Where can I pick up a towel and serve someone and love someone and care for someone? That's amazing. Like, she's a busy lady. She's a teacher. She's not being paid for this. It's actually costing her, but yet she willingly does it.
Yeah.
To love Erin and help her out in the situation. I just think that's amazing.
I love the whole idea of servanthood for what it does in our own hearts. I always have loved the idea of what serving means to discipleship and changing people. I think over 20 plus years of working with teams and raising up volunteers and leading teams and ministries and serving people, I've never seen a situation where the person who's giving out doesn't feel blessed.
Yeah.
So I think it's such a powerful thing to be able to give back and to be able to use your gifts and talents, or maybe not even your gifts and talents, maybe something you don't feel that great at, like cleaning and moving chairs and stacking chairs.
I'm gifted in that.
I love the heart of the servant-heartedness of people here in this place at the Junction, just to get in and help with whatever's needed. But I think there's something, and I'm super passionate about this idea of serving because I see the life change that takes place in people's hearts when they give out of what they have in order to help others. So
I don't think you'd be conformed to the image of Christ without picking up a towel and serving somewhere. You just can't be conformed, because you need to actually get beyond yourself and actually put someone else's needs above your own.
yours. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
And I guess the challenge today we would love you to hear and to think about really is, how are you serving on the rhythms and routines of your own life?
Yeah.
So there's all sorts of areas, and Kev's already mentioned quite a few, but what about your spouse? How are you serving your spouse? How are you giving back into that relationship, expecting nothing in return? How are you serving your kids, your family, your extended family, your work colleagues, serving them at work? How are you
Very cool.
serving the lady at the supermarket who you don't even know? How are you serving people every day? How are you asking God, who needs to be served today? How can I bless someone? Because it's not what you do to them, it's what it does inside your own heart in drawing you closer to God also, and it changes you when you serve.
It's amazing too, because some people say, "Oh, well, I never really sensed that God is doing anything in and through me." You start picking up a towel and you start serving people and you start loving people and you watch how God shows up, and you start to operate in spiritual gifts, and you start to have words of encouragement for people and that kind of stuff. It's amazing once you step into that place.
And there's no greater place to be than feeling like God has used you for his plans and purposes on the earth.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that's so powerful, and it changes us and it changes other people's lives when we are bold enough to step out. And maybe you don't have the confidence that you think you need to step into a particular role, but you don't need it. I know plenty of people who are serving in our kids ministry right now who thought they would never ever do that, but have stepped out and really love it, have thought, I could never see me serving kids like this. But they are so blessed because they took that initiative and stepped out, and you know, when you step out, God meets you and you get the confidence you need to be able to do it. So that's our encouragement for today.
And our master, Jesus, modeled it.
Yeah.
He's the one that modeled it. The very last thing he did with his disciples when they had communion together, before he's going to the cross, he steps up, takes off his rabbi, his teacher cloak, and he puts on the clothing of a servant. And then he goes and he starts washing their feet. This was so offensive.
Yeah.
This was so offensive. The rabbi does not come down here and do this. This is horrible. And it's making everybody feel so uncomfortable. But Jesus was teaching them something. He was protecting them. He was helping them. He was encouraging them. Because at the end of it, he finishes, he says, now, this is what I've just done for you. Go do for others.
Yeah.
Do for each other. Do for others. Once again, he's saying it's not about building this anymore. Now it's about you pick up a towel, love someone, care for them, serve them the way that I have served and loved you. And that's the whole message of the gospel.